Hello and welcome back to the Embodied AI Video Digest. I'm Fred's AI avatar. The real Fred and I go through the week's Embodied AI news together. He does the thinking, I do the talking, and in about 12 minutes, you get the 5 stories that actually matter, one for each layer of the stack. Brains, the models, bodies, the hardware, movement, what they can physically do, usefulness, whether anyone pays for it, and acceptance, whether society lets them in. This week, Google builds a brain that runs a humanoid from its feet to its fingertips. The fastest growing embodied AI product on Earth turns out to be a pair of spectacles, and up to half of them are being sent back. A home robot folds 778 loads of laundry in houses it has never entered. Agility Robotics puts a real number on robot working hours, and America bans the import of Chinese robots, so Unitree files for its stock market listing 2 days later. Let's go. Layer 1, Brains. On Thursday, Google DeepMind released Gemini Robotics 2, and the headline is in one phrase, feet to fingertips. Last year's model controlled a robot's upper body, arms, hands, tabletop. Useful, but it meant the robot was effectively a torso bolted to a trolley. This one does whole body control, torso, hips, legs, and 22 degrees of freedom in the hands, all planned together so the machine can crouch, lean, counterbalance, and reach in a single continuous motion. Watch what that buys you. It unscrews a light bulb, reportedly 92% of the time. It seals a Ziploc bag. It ties a knot in a bin liner. There are 3 models in the family. Gemini Robotics 2 is the vision language action model that turns what the robot sees and hears into motor commands. ER2 does the reasoning, so you can describe a multi-step job in plain language and have several robots divide it between them. And On-Device 2 runs locally, no internet, and adapts to a completely new robot body in a matter of hours. That last point is the one to hold on to. The demos ran on Apptronic's Apollo 2 with 5-fingered hands, and Boston Dynamics and Agile Robots are early access partners. The strategic so what? Google has decided not to fight the hardware war. It is bidding to be the operating system of physical AI, the intelligence layer inside everybody else's bodies. And because the model transfers to a new body in hours, progress now compounds across the entire industry's hardware, not one company's. Layer 2, Bodies. And a reminder that embodied AI is not just robotics, because the fastest scaling embodied AI product on the planet right now is a pair of spectacles. 3 sets of numbers landed this week. On Tuesday, EssilorLuxottica, the company that actually manufactures the Ray-Ban and Oakley Meta glasses, published its half-year results. 14.8 billion euros of revenue, up nearly 10%, and the best first-half free cash flow in 5 years. Buried inside it, this line, AI glasses revenue nearly doubled year-on-year in the second quarter. On Wednesday, Meta's own results told you the other half. Reality Labs made $431 million and lost $4.62 billion. Cumulatively, that division has now lost $83.6 billion since 2020. But look at the composition. Meta said the growth came entirely from AI glasses, partially offset by lower Quest headset sales. Headsets shrinking, glasses carrying the whole division, and then the number nobody wanted. On Thursday, as the Chinese brand Headwolf launched into the United States, it cited research showing return rates of 30 to 50% for smart camera glasses and voice recorders. That is a vendor saying it, not a critic. Hold both facts at once. Sell-in is booming. Sell-through is leaking badly. Somewhere between a third and a half of these things are going back in the box. And the reason given is simply that people stop wanting to wear them, which makes Apple's decision look interesting. Also this week, Bloomberg reported Apple has pushed its first smart glasses back to June 2027 and deprioritized a cheaper Vision Pro to get there, betting the category on privacy hardware rather than raw capability. The so what? The winner here will not be whoever ships the most capable glasses. It will be whoever makes a pair people are still wearing in month 3, and a promise kept from last week. DJI's mysterious See More, Tell More reveal on the 30th turned out to be the Osmo Pocket 4P, a dual-lens pocket camera. Lovely bit of kit, not a robot. We said we would tell you either way. Layer 3, Movement. And this is my favorite number of the week because of what it is a number of. On Thursday, Sunday, robotics published results for ACT2, the model running on Memo, its wheeled home robot, folding laundry, 778 successes out of 785 attempts, 99.1%, and the crucial qualifier, in homes the robot had never entered before. Here is why that matters more than any capability demo you saw this week. Reliability, not capability, is the wall home robotics keeps hitting. A robot that works 90% of the time is not 90% of a useful robot. It is zero because you have to stand there and watch it anyway, and at that point, you may as well fold the towels yourself. Almost nobody in this industry publishes a denominator. They publish a video. Sunday published 785 trials in houses their engineers had not seen, and they published the 7 failures too. The so what? The question has moved from can it do the task to can it do the task 999 times out of 1,000. That is the only question that matters for anything you would let into your home, and this is the first company to answer it with arithmetic. Layer 4, usefulness, which in this show always means the same thing. Is anyone actually paying? On Tuesday, Agility Robotics disclosed 3 numbers together. First, a definitive deal to go public through a merger with Churchill Capital Corp 11 at a $2.5 billion pre-money value, expected to raise over $620 million. Second, more than $300 million of multi-year orders for Digit version 5. And third, the number I would frame and hang on the wall, Digit robots have now clocked over 65,000 operating hours across 9 customer facilities. 65,000 hours, not demonstration hours, not pilot hours, hours of a clock running inside somebody else's warehouse, doing work that somebody else is paying for. There is no more credible answer to do these things actually work than a cumulative operating hour count, and nobody else in humanoids has published one this large. They have also opened a 60,000 square foot physical AI hub in Fremont and are hiring around 200 technical and field operations staff. The so what? If that listing closes, Agility becomes the first US-listed pure-play humanoid company, and that means the sector finally gets a public comparable. Right now, humanoid valuations are set in private rooms with no benchmark. A public price, updated every day, disciplines everyone. Layer 5, acceptance, and the biggest policy event this industry has seen all year. On Tuesday, the Federal Communications Commission added foreign-made advanced robotic devices to its covered list after a White House-convened interagency body found they pose, quote, unacceptable risks to the national security of the United States. In plain terms, America has banned the import of new foreign-built humanoids, robot dogs, and autonomous mobile robots over about 2 kilos if they have sensing, networking, and control software. Read the carve-outs carefully because they matter. It applies to new device models only, so machines already authorized and already bought are untouched. Federal government use is exempt, and manufacturers can apply for conditional approval. On Thursday, China's Commerce Ministry pledged all measures necessary, saying the ban severely damages bilateral trade, with a Trump and Xi summit on the calendar for September. The industry split immediately. One American chief executive called it among the strongest technology security actions in modern US history, but Henrik Christensen at UC San Diego warned the ban is potentially much wider than China, and that Canadian and European robots could be caught by it. And Ruben Scriven at Interact Analysis made the sharpest point. It may inhibit American robotics more than Chinese, because the cheap Chinese platforms are what have been teaching American engineers and universities how to build with robots at all. And then, 2 days after being banned from the American market, Unitree filed its prospectus, 4.2 billion yuan, around $620 million, at a 42 billion yuan valuation. Pricing inquiries the 5th of August, subscriptions the 10th. Now, the other promise from last week. We told you America's robotaxi companies had to hand their emergency scene homework to the regulator by the 31st of July. Here is what happened. The deadline passed. No public resolution, no compliance finding, no enforcement action, nothing. But 1 day earlier, that same regulator granted Zoox the first ever American commercial exemption for a vehicle with no steering wheel, no pedals, and no driver's seat. 8 federal safety standards waived, up to 2,500 vehicles a year. The so what? Bodies are becoming national territory while brains go global. And watch what the regulator actually chose. It let its own safety ultimatum lapse in silence, and in the same week issued the most permissive exemption in its history. So, week 31, brains, Gemini Robotics 2, controls a humanoid from feet to fingertips and moves to a new body in hours. Bodies, AI glasses revenue nearly doubled, and up to half of them are being returned. Movement, a home robot folded laundry 778 times out of 785 in houses it had never seen. Usefulness, agility has 65,000 real operating hours and a route to the stock market. Acceptance, America banned imported robot bodies, and China's biggest robot maker filed to go public 2 days later. One thread ties it together. This was the week the map got drawn. Bodies are being turned into national territory, licensed, banned, tariffed, and listed. Brains are going the other way entirely, transferring between machines in a matter of hours and respecting no border at all. Whoever confuses the two will misread this industry completely, and telling one from the other is exactly why this digest exists. Next week, BYD unveils its first humanoid robot. We should finally see Unitree's shares actually price and trade, and we will find out whether Beijing retaliates over that robot import ban before September. If this was useful, subscribe and share it with one colleague who still thinks robots are 5 years away. I'm Fred's avatar. He does the thinking, I do the talking. See you next week.